We are joined by Will Black, the pride of Canada. We got to come up with some sort of nickname. We had, we have Mapletron. I'm trying to think of a good offensive line Canadian nickname, but
something to do with syrup.
So it's got to be something. But I think it's more like a Vermont thing. That I feel like the syrup is. So you guys do make your own syrup. Actually, I believe there is maple syrup, like traces of it, in most of your currency up there. So yeah, I think yes.
Is.
We're just going to call you the syrup man because
let's do it.
You put syrup on all your pancakes. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So, Will, you're in year 3 playing football. Hockey was the original sport.
Right.
What position do we play in hockey?
So I started off playing forward. I played like winger, and then when I got bigger, they put me on defense. So I'm trying to imagine you like in the Connor McDavid role,
how fast of a skate? Because I've seen your 40 time.
Yeah.
Like you can move. So I'm just I wasn't great in high school physics, but you on skates seems like that's very fast.
Yeah, I was pretty fast. I was always the tallest player, for sure. But I was back when I played. Like seriously, I was a lot skinnier. So I was probably like 200 pounds.
But you could stick people when you were a defenseman, right?
I mean. Not all the time.
No, you were just checking them into the boards.
Oh, I thought you meant.
Oh no, yeah, covering the little wingers.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely use my size. And
I trust me. You put somebody to the boards, they're gonna feel it.
Oh yeah, 100%. All the time.
So obviously you're in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
It is becoming clear you could be very good at football. How do you make the decision to come to the States? You go to Choate, which is an incredibly academically rigorous boarding school where most of the people go to Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
How did that process come about?
So I played 2 high school football years in Canada, and I started realizing I was really good. And I downloaded Twitter, made an account, and high schools from America were reaching out. And that's when I realized I was like, oh, maybe I could do something with football in the U.S. So
you're like, hey, I'm a 6'5", 265-pound former hockey player. Anybody interested?
I had no idea. I did not think that was possible, but I guess with my size and athleticism, it was. So then I started looking at places where I could go and board, because I couldn't just go to a public school because I needed.
Where are you gonna move?
To live,
your parents aren't moving, right?
So I looked at the best boarding schools in the Northeast and visited a couple, and then I ended up at Choate.
So I mean, the classwork I'm sure is not easy.
No,
the football part of it, but preparing you for where you've committed, which is the University of Notre Dame. What was it about Notre Dame that felt like the right place for you?
The people there, I think the culture is amazing. Everyone's very like-minded. Everyone goes there not just for football, but they want to get a good degree. That's what the coaches always talk about, the 4 for 40. And so the degree from Notre Dame is super valuable and will carry you on past football.
And they network.
Exactly.
The Notre Dame network is pretty unbeatable. Yeah. So,
and they also produce offensive linemen like no other school. So
yeah, it's basically everybody who's been their left tackle in the last, I guess since Ronnie Stanley probably has been a first-round pick.
Yeah, it's nuts.
No pressure, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, and you've got a pretty good offensive line class already. Like, how much do you guys talk?
We talk every once in a while. We got up to the spring game together where we met each other. We got to hang out a bunch, but we have a group chat where we talk. We've gotten to know each other.
How much, when you think about how well they've been able to develop offensive linemen, how much did that go into the decision of these guys tend to make first round, early round type draft picks?
Yeah, it definitely did a lot. I remember I committed when I visited in December, and I went to the awards banquet, and I got to meet Joe Alt and Blake Fisher, and just talking to them was real. Like, it was awesome. They told me how great of a coach Joe Rudolph is. I think they had 3 offensive line coaches, just those 2 guys. So I mean, Joe Rudolph is the best. I think he's the best coach for me.
Well, his reputation precedes him. He was great when he was at Wisconsin as well.
Exactly,
so, so for you mentioned you were tall, skinny. When did when did you start getting huge? And did it just sort of come on like, wait a second, nothing fits anymore?
So I remember I started playing football in grade 10. I was 230 pounds. And then by the next season, I was 275.
Oh, wow. So you just like breathed on the weights and all of a sudden the muscles come?
Yeah, I put on like 45 pounds in a year. Pretty clean. And so, yeah, I've just been putting on muscle. And
how important is it? Because we just had all of you guys, the offensive linemen who are here for the Elite Series in here. There's nobody sloppy. Like, you guys look like athletes, big athletes. How important is it to stay like that? And because obviously you're, as an offensive lineman, trying to get bigger, but how do you get bigger without losing the athleticism?
Well, you got to put on clean weight, so you got to be eating good food and a lot of it. So I'm trying to put in a lot of good food. And then with that, you got to be working out, lifting weights, as well as doing cardio. So all that.
I'm just trying to make you say the words out and about as many times as I can. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm an ugly American, and I apologize for that. But you've come through like a champ. You have said oot and you've said a boot, and it is awesome.
Have I?
Oh yeah.
I haven't even noticed that.
Well, my parents had very thick Southern accents, and it didn't occur to me that they kind of talk like this, and because you're in the house, you don't even notice it.
Yeah.
And then they'd call, and my friends would answer and be like, "Who's this on the phone?" I'm like, "Oh, that's my mom." So that's it. You got to be proud of where you're from. I wish I still had my old accent. So you get to South Bend and you keep that, because you're going to be around the Michiana people, and they all have that Michigan kind of little Chicago-ish accent.
Yeah.
They're going to try to get you to turn to that. You keep the oot and the boots.
Right now I'm around a lot of New York people, so.
Oh yeah.
So definitely.
That's got to be what. So we were talking about this earlier before we started recording. Jamie Lee Curtis went to your high school. JFK and JFK's dad went to your high school. Like, I imagine the parents of some of your classmates are just straight ballers.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think there was a couple years ago, the parents of the owners of Samsung and LG were there.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, some big people, some big names.
Yeah, so somebody's got a Samsung phone. You're like, why you got a Samsung phone, not an iPhone? Because my dad's the CEO.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy.
That is incredible. Does anybody take a private jet home on the weekends?
Not that I know of, but maybe.
I was gonna say, okay,
maybe.
You gotta figure out who some of these people are.
I know. Yeah.
This is a start to your Notre Dame networking career.
Exactly.
Like, because you'll know those people when you get in the dorms at Notre Dame. Like, you get to know everybody. So that is, and I'm interested to hear about this, because you mentioned earlier the people who choose Notre Dame are not choosing kind of the same college football experience that a lot of these other folks are choosing. Like, they're going to put you in the dorms with students who aren't necessarily athletes.
Yeah.
And the guys I've talked to who went to Notre Dame kind of love that part, because they got to meet people maybe they wouldn't have met otherwise. But how much did that appeal to you? Is it something that, because it is a very different thing. They don't have majors that they just shuttle athletes into. Like, you gotta take something hard.
Yeah, that definitely appeals to me, how they like to push their students. Like, some schools will put their athletes in easy programs just so they can focus on football, but I like the challenge of doing both. And then, like, my first year at boarding school, I lived with a hockey player from Canada.
Oh, nice.
So that was cool.
So you had somebody to talk to?
Yeah, get to know some
compare
other
notes
people outside of the football team. And then same thing at Notre Dame, but I'll probably live in a dorm the first year and then an apartment with the offensive line.
Oh yeah.
After that.
Well, listen, offensive lineman, and you'll probably add a long snapper, just from experience. Like, specialists always glom onto the offensive line.
Oh yeah.
It just happens. They're like their little friends, the little punters, and they're like mascots basically. So you'll have the leprechaun over here, and maybe like a punter that you live with the rest of the offensive line.
Yeah.
So, what are you going to major in? Do we know?
Business.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe finance or marketing. Not 100% sure yet.
Finance sounds very hard, but.
Well, I mean.
I went to a state school, so.
Yeah. I like the challenge of hard school.
I like this. I like the challenge. Like, have you always been like that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's why I chose to go to hard high school. And then like Joe Alt really inspired me when I found out he was doing mechanical engineering at Notre Dame.
It's crazy.
At the same time being the best
Offensive line in the country. Yeah.
Yeah, like no one else does that.
Well, and you kind of, even though you've been playing offensive line the whole time, because Joe played tight end through high school, but they kind of knew he was going to be an offensive lineman originally. But it sounds like the physical journey for you has been fairly similar to what his was, where he was taller and thinner and then developed the size to go with the athleticism.
Yeah, and I think it's good not to rush when putting on weight, because that's when you'll develop bad habits.
Oh yeah. I used to play offensive line. I know. Don't look, but the putting on the weight part, a lot of fun when I was trying to do it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of fun when you don't play football anymore and you just keep putting on the weight. So
yeah,
you're gonna be one of those guys that like you're gonna play at Notre Dame, you're gonna play in the NFL, you're gonna retire, you're gonna weigh like 225 a week later.
It might happen, maybe.
Well, you got it all figured out. I appreciate this. I like this.
Yeah.
You love the challenge and you got the plan. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples On 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.